People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now I've brought out a lot of videos at this point. You lot are mad, car. I think I bring out too many videos personally. Obviously I have an infectious, work rate and just a desire to speak about football with you lot in all sorts of topics. But yesterday I was even putting in the comments, a couple of you were saying, DG, where you at? We need vids. You lot are mad. But yeah, I'm back spamming you lot on this Friday. You've seen Q&As, Burnley versus Arsenal preview, Cedric Suarez been officially announced, couple of thoughts in relation to him and Ceballos, a crap load of videos at this moment in time. But I'm back again, and realistically, would it be the same if I made all these videos on the road and I wasn't back in Soho Square? So yeah, your favourite YouTuber, your favourite weirdo is back again. It's difficult doing this with one hand, like you can see, people, so I have some sympathy. That's a blank page, but let's keep that. That might be something important that I dash away. But back to actually what I'm here for, people, and I don't think I've printed off that many topics on this piece of this sheet. Let's start with let's start with David Ornstein. Now, obviously, the deadline is 11 PM today on Friday. In fact, the most exciting news I've probably seen is apparently Man United are in for Josh King, and the 28-year-old former United player is ready to move to head up north and kick things started if an agreement can be made, and whatnot, people. So we'll have to see what that one there is saying. First and foremost, David Ornstein said apparently Cedric Suarez should be the end of our business this window, and obviously you could say the club needed to get a centre-half and someone that could provide depth. I would have liked two centre-halves and potentially a full-back, sorry. But if you look at it, Suarez can play left and right, allegedly, so as well as the left. I know he can play on the right. So that gives you someone that can cover two positions. Obviously, Marie's come in. Obviously, we're still, even with just Marie in centre-half, we're down to our bare bones, but we've got a body and it's better than nothing, innit? It is what it is in that regards. So, that was going to be the end of the business. Maybe if we got the business that we've made official, if we got it done sooner, maybe we could have been a bit more ambitious. Maybe the club is working on something. You heard Gamerez come into the club, he's gone to Lyon, a couple of other central midfielders allegedly. Probably the bulk of our work in terms of bringing in a midfielder, or if we were going to bring in a midfielder, probably relied on the future of Granit Xhaka. He started the window being linked with Hertha Berlin and stuff like that. Apparently you wanted one anyways. Do you get what I'm saying? But with Xhaka obviously turning the corner, the business with the fans put to bed, and obviously he's used in Arsenal's first team a lot again. It's been put to bed, and we don't need to go for another midfielder of sorts. Well, we do, but it's been put to bed. It's actually not here, but before I forget, let me find my phone, people. Give me a sec. I saw some comments in relation to Ryan Fraser. Now, he gave some comments about more or less how his level dropped after being linked with Arsenal, and it more or less not happening. And you've heard that with Zaha, you've heard that with many players that have left Arsenal or tried to move away from Arsenal, and it hasn't happened. Like Alexis Sanchez, in hindsight, he was probably just declining as a footballer. But them last 6 months, or that last period until he left in January of whatever year, he looked to shadow of his former self. People were sitting there and saying, it's because he doesn't want to be at Arsenal, rightly or wrongly. And then he still carried on with the same stuff at United. So maybe in hindsight, he was declining. But you always see players, it's probably hard to maintain your energy levels when a move doesn't happen, people. But Ryan Fraser, if I can find these comments, I think I found them, people. Give me a sec, so I'll make sure I've actually found it for you. Oh, I'm actually trying to find this, people. But first and foremost, Josh Dasilva, he went to Brentford and he's advancing his career, and his move can be backed up. He could play up front, he could play left back. He's a central midfielder by trade. Like you lot know, we offered him a deal. At the same time, Dragomir left, he left. Can't begrudge him. The midfield was, there was a couple of young players have left with him, but there was a lot of competition, just a lot of bodies. So if he's going to Brentford, where he's a regular in the team, but he's not like first name on the team sheet, but he's evidently playing more senior football, it's a blow to Arsenal. But he needs to do what he needs to do, people. But he's offered some comments, and he said, I've been there, Arsenal, my whole life. When I told my mum I wasn't going back, she was in tears praying for me. My parents thought I was destined to be an Arsenal player, and you never know, you might be. Apparently people are looking at him in the Championship, people. He's very good, he's got a good size on him, he's very good technically, probably needs to learn to keep his standards high and up from the first minute to the last, but he's a young man. He said it was very emotional. I wanted to play for Arsenal for the rest of my life. but I had to do what was best for my career, and that's 100% facts, people. He needed to. If he didn't move, where would he be? Could he just be one of the many bodies? Because I'm sure when he left, we had Dragomir, we had him. At a time, you had him, you had Dragomir, you had Gilmore, you had McGain, you had the existing central mids, including Willock. There's a lot of, obviously a lot of people have left and whatnot, but there's a lot of positions, and you don't want to become the one of many people, really and truly. So good on Josh Dasilva for, you know, at the end of the day, you need to remove your emotions from things and look at things specifically. If he didn't leave, would he be a better footballer? The answer is probably no. So he's got to do what's good for his career. Ryan Fraser's comments, I finally found them. He said, I think everyone knows by now what has happened in relation to the Arsenal interest. He said, to be honest with you, it's obviously affected me in the first 4 months of the season. I wasn't myself and I didn't play for the team. I'm honest enough to admit that. I look back at it and I spoke to my family about it, and it just looked bad on me. I didn't help the team, and yes, it shouldn't have had to take me that long to realise, but I am my own worst critic, and I apologise to the lads, and that's all I can do. And first and foremost, it's great honesty, because obviously you want to hear players play with integrity, and whether you're staying at a club or leaving, you do your thing to the end. But it's, you know, rightly or wrongly, whether I agree with it, it's natural. It's like if you want to leave a workplace and you've seen your job interview turned down, you're not going to put in as much effort. You are going to feel sorry for yourself, and there is a risk of becoming a bit of a mercenary. It hasn't happened. I believe his contract is still up, so he could still move either to Arsenal or somewhere else. But like Zaha, you can feel sorry for yourself, but the world keeps spinning. It is what it is. Like, you can sulk, or for me, like I always try to say in my videos, it's in your best interest to play to the best of your ability, because if you play well, good form, you have a bit of a sulk and your form dips, people that were interested in you, they might say, can't have been that good, it was just a purple patch. So it's in your best interest to give the best you can. But obviously the emotional side and the mental effects of moves not happening can be a lot, people. Away from that though, Martin Keown has spoken on Cedric Suarez. He said, I think he's a good player. He's been a bit unfortunate this season. I do feel he's a really good player. Of course, current holder with Portugal of the Euros, I still think he's good enough to offer something for us, and I believe that as well, man. For me, again, I'm not here to say he's gonna be this and that. I just want to see someone, first and foremost, direct competition for that right back spot. And me, obviously, Bellerin, I don't know if Maitland-Niles, I don't know if he's seen as a fullback or if he's going to be used in midfield by Arteta, but I see 3 people eligible for right back and there's only 1 slot, so that means Bellerin, Maitland, and obviously the new signing, they've got to slug it out, and that should almost equal, you know, an uptake in performance. Same way on the left hand side, you've seen Kolasinac react to the new manager and speculation over his future. Tierney is number 1 when he's back. Saka's probably, you know, Saka's number 1 as well. Saka's shown that whether he's going to be a winger or a left back is up for debate, but he's able to do both and he's adaptable in both, and that's good for him, and it speaks volumes of his intelligence and willingness to learn, and it also gives us options. So we've essentially, including both sides, got 6 eligible options for 2 positions. On one hand, you could say that lacks balance, but on the other hand, you see what I'm saying, people. And obviously, Suarez allegedly can play left back as well, so, you know, that's almost 7 options of sorts, people. Obviously, I hope at 28, with the last move to a big club in Inter Milan not working out, with the Arsenal move coming, obviously it was going to be a free agent at the end of the season, so there could have been other moves and whatnot to come. Who knows, people? But I'd like to think, you know, he's got allegedly, if he does well, there's a contract on the table till he's 32, so it's a 4-year deal. It's a chance to help Arsenal play in the Champions League. He moves to London as well. It's a big enough scope at this time in his career for him to want to hit the ground running and want to make a positive difference for Arsenal Football Club, and I hope he can do that. Obviously, it's not a glamorous signing, but at the end of the day, some signings have to be shrewd business, and it gives us depth, it gives us competition. I'm happy with him and Emery, to be honest. We needed defensive options, and just hopefully they're both relatively experienced. They both, you know, had kind of tough moments in their careers, and with this position they've got now, I hope they hit the ground running, people. Finally, again, there might be more comments from Unai Emery, but these are the only ones I've seen come out online. He has said, first and foremost, let's start with the more positive. He spoke about Arteta. He said, he is playing a 4-2-3-1 like ours. Ozil is still 10 and is slowly looking for his identity. But with my departure, the hostile atmosphere is relaxed. The results are not the best, but you have to give it time to do so. And that's true, people. There was a lot of hostility towards Emery and around him. And with Arteta, whether it's a former player, whether it's for me being able to see a clear philosophy, whether it's just acknowledging that the manager or whoever was going to take the job after Emery, or even if Emery took it, that it's a shitload of work to do. We've all kind of calmed it down and whatnot. We've seen the Xhaka thing put to bed. You've seen the, you know, everybody's moving forward. And I'd say Arsenal fans are not too positive, but it's almost too positive in this perception that we've turned a new leaf and all of these things. And it's true, Arteta's getting the best things from us, but that's in comparison to how poor we have been as a team, people. If you look at, like, if we was to isolate how Arsenal, even if we've turned a new leaf, the current Arsenal, and I'm not criticising anyone, and put that with a team that you attribute with getting top 4 consistently and all of these things, it's not good enough. That's not me criticising, me bashing. It's going to be a process, but it takes time. But for me, the clear thing is from the get-go, Arteta, you see what he wants to do with the team. You see players listening to tactics. You see more confidence. I'm not here to criticise Emery because he did have some good stuff, but for even up until the day he departed, man, are still screaming he needs his own players, he needs this, and a lot of that's true. Same way Arteta needs his own man eventually, but no way around it. This current Arsenal job, you have to be able to coach. Coaching is a big part. I'm not being disrespectful to Unai Emery because he's got his pro license, won Europa League, he's clearly a good manager, but at Arsenal, it was clearly a task too hard. He was not. I don't think he had enough conviction in his ideas and was radical enough in his approach, people. Obviously, his people skills in hindsight weren't the best. Whether he used Ozil or not, you see how Arteta is. You know, the man management in today's day and age is almost as important, if not more important, than any tactics you want to bring to the table. And I think he's done well at that, people. So Emery does have truth. Moving on from that, Emery said there were several problems. 4 captains. There was 4 captains. The Ozil, Kolasinac case, Pepe signing, which needs time to be that, which needs time. We didn't play well, that's for sure. That brought us bad results. There was no improvements. The fan focused on me and they threw me out. That's a lie, Emery, because I'm not gonna lie. For me personally, and I got a lot of stick on it. You lot go back to my AFTV video when I gave him a 5 out of 10 at the time, like last season when he first came. He needed time. There was a lot of legitimate reasons to give Emery, but from the get-go, I felt that unbeaten run was clouding judgment, people. I felt if you looked at it, we was turning up in the second half. It looked great, but there was questions to be said. If you have to keep doing that, are you setting off in the best way? I do think Emery was quite cowardly and whatnot. I do think Emery had a lot of issues with how he's setting up the team. You see how Arteta, there's a reliance on fullbacks, but it's different. There's an as importance on the midfield. I didn't see a lot of this in Emery's play. It was stagnant, it was freestyling, and there weren't really any attacking intent really consistently. There was a lot of legitimate questions. But for time, people were saying Emery needs his own squad, Emery needs this player, get rid of Ozil, get rid of this, and some of that might be true. But you see what I'm saying? Before, it took a while for people to genuinely go, yo, Emery is not the guy, you know? So I think that's a lie, people. I don't think he was targeted and whatnot. Like I've said in many videos when I've reviewed Emery's time at Arsenal and Emery, you know, his post-match comments about Arsenal, I think where he went wrong, first and foremost, if he had his time again, I don't think he really had conviction in his ideas, whether I agree with them or not. You know, 1 minute is 5 at the back, 4 at the back. You need to have one clear way of playing, master that, and then you deviate and add different ingredients to the mix and do other things, but there's got to be freedom within a framework. I don't think he had conviction in his ideas. I think he listened to too many people. I don't think at times he actually listened to people around him and saved himself. Again, the Ozil thing, Ozil doesn't cut it 9 times out of 10, but the man management and how to weigh the things you was hearing about the players mocking him and all of these things, the players have to take responsibility, that's appalling. But did he ever have the respect? Did he ever attempt to get their respect? Did he ever attempt to do more than just a tactical point of view? I do think you're lying, Emery, because you were the last place people looked at, and it really took a lot for everyone to go, listen, yo, Emery. I don't think anyone wanted Emery to fail. Like I said, people very quickly said we've got our Arsenal back, and maybe that's a lesson to fans to not, whether good or bad, whether it's players or managers or whatever, to not get too excited and just try and use the perception. Well, it is what it is in that regards, man. Emery's done here. Don't know why he's speaking. There's probably more comments, but I don't have them printed off at this time, people. Well, you know, if I get across them comments, we'll obviously bring out a review, but yeah, man, people, thank you for always rocking with me. You know, we're back in Soho Square. Yeah, check out the rest of the content. I love you guys. Your support means the world, especially as what? We're just shy of 19k, people. You know me. We're trying to do this 20k before the end of the season. And it means a lot that you lot subscribe, you lot follow, you lot share things, you lot send love from all different countries. I see someone comment from Kenya, people in LA, people in Australia, people in China. Obviously, big up my Jamaicans, you know, they got me. Big up my Bajans as well, because I'm Bajan too. All over the Caribbean, all over the world, man. I see Serbia one time as well, and you know, it shows the power of football and the power of the internet, that we can all connect in different worlds just from our common love of football. And obviously me being the deluded Gooner, my specific love for this club, people. But I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I respect you guys. Like I said, thank you for the love. DG Nation, stay safe, stay well. I'm out.